What is that reader like? Are they kids like you? Are they adults? Are they people that love baseball or people that don't know anything about baseball?
We practice or play 6 out of 7 days a week.
The game of baseball is a game played between two teams with 9 players on each team. And the goal of the game is to get one player all the way around 4 bases back to home plate. And every time one player crosses home plate, the team gets 1 run, which is equivalent to a point. So by the end of the game, the goal is to have more runs than your opponent. And the way that you get runs is when your team is batting and the other team is in the field, you try to hit a thrown ball, and if you do hit the ball, you run to first base and eventually go around all of the bases. And when you're in the field, the goal is to keep your opponent from scoring runs by recording outs, which means you're catching the ball so that the players on the other team can no longer advance.
This is where all the reporters are sitting. She's taking calls for what she's going to report on. Everything that the anchors are reading,
Like here's a
she's
script.
writing. Yep.
So like they'll read this from in there.
When I do sports, it's over there in the corner. I think if you write a good story and you shoot a good story, you'll have a good story.
If I want to point at Florence, I look at that team over there and I say, there's Florence. But if I want to look at Greenville, then I come over here and I say, there's Greenville up there.
When it's in the studio, it is just video. Here is where we can punch from camera to camera to camera. We can put the graphics in. That's all done here, and this is called studio controls. This is the master control. This is where they'll put commercials in. This is where they'll put the time and the weather, and anything like that they'll put in from here. So that's kind of the process of where everything goes. Basically, it goes from the newsroom to the studio to the control room to the master control, and master control will beam it out to your living room.
This is an early catcher's mask. It belonged to a man by the name of Pons Amar, and Mr. Amar died in 1927, so that's as old as this is, probably early 20th century. And this was part of they're called Charleston Rebels was the name of the team at that time, our Charleston team. We have a face guard, very similar to it. With the 3 baseballs that you see are from the 1950s, and that was also, it's signed by players that belong to the Rebels, Charleston Rebels team back then. Here we have a very early baseball mitt. The date is approximately 1876. As you can see, very well worn. The other baseball glove is from the 1940s, and that belonged to a Mr. Fox from Charleston. The bat is very early, but I cannot tell you exactly the date of it. We got this in the 1970s.
What I thought we were spending a little bit of time on today is where NASA's going from here forwards. The assembly is complete. We're just doing science. We're sending up research. No country in history has had more than one manned spacecraft operating off its soil ever. And so now, within 2019, we're going to have 2 vehicles operating. And so that's a big deal. In June of 2022, we're going to put crew members on board Orion. And we're going to send 4 people around the moon on the very first flight.
It kind of feels that America is kind of being torn in 2 different directions as a nation, whether it's politically, religious, or racial, or anything. And I always found that baseball somehow brings America together. Because when you go to a baseball stadium, whether it's Joe Riley or a Major League Stadium, it doesn't matter if you're black or white, Hispanic, Asian, Jewish, Muslim, Christian, everyone's there rooting on the RiverDogs or whichever team they're after. They don't really care about anything else. So for about 3 hours, no one really cares about division, right? It's all about that one unifying moment.
You have to work really hard to be good at baseball or softball. I've watched really good athletes that can play football, soccer, basketball even. They can't do anything on a baseball field because they haven't practiced it.